Yes, Darian Durant joins us now on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, coming off the semifinals in the CFL. Oh, there's nothing that beats playoff football. But Darian, we are coming into this weekend's West and East finals, and you know what? Got to admit, the Lions, they're coming into the game pretty hot against the Riders. They beat the reigning Grey Cup champs. From your vantage point, when a team like that rides momentum into the playoffs, what do you think will be the biggest key to success for the Riders this weekend?
Well, I think they're going to have to match BC's big playability. I think Nathan Rourke has shown throughout this season that he is capable of the big play. The receivers for the BC Lions have been having a tremendous season. And I think the Riders should be able to take advantage of some of the holes in this Lions secondary. VA showed last week that he could take advantage of some of the holes throughout the season. BC's defense just seemed to struggle or couldn't put it together week after week to show some consistency. So I think there'll be some opportunities for the Riders to go downfield and take advantage of the secondary. But, you have to match BC fire with the way Nathan Rourke has been playing this season.
Darian, since the first half ended in BC, I have been dying to ask you this question. Vernon Adams Jr. ran out of time on the clock. Is that on the coach or is that on the quarterback?
If he was younger, then I would say, the coach has to be in his ear a little bit. Maybe the coach's fault. But VA is such a vet in this league, and he's been through pretty much every single scenario. So you have to give him majority of the blame for this. He's out there on the field. He's, like I said, he's a veteran guy. He should know time, situation, what's going on. And with Dave being a quarterback as well, they both should know exactly what's going on. So, look. Put it on them both. They're both quarterbacks. They both have played at a high level. So let's just put it on both of those guys.
You said, and maybe could you clarify this for everyone that's listening, that the Dave Dickinson or whoever the offensive coordinator is or whoever it might be for the Calgary Stampeders is in the ear of Vernon Adams Jr. Some folks may not recognize that there's a speaker inside the helmet. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, after each and every play, the coaches get a time slot. I'm unsure exactly how many seconds it is, but immediately after the play, coaches are able to communicate with the quarterback. So it definitely should have been some communication there about the time, situation, what they're trying to do, what the goals are for this drive. Even some coaches take it as far as saying you can't take a sack here or make sure you throw it away if something isn't there. They go deep into detail what you need to do in every situation. So there's definitely communication between the quarterback and the play caller. And with these guys both being former quarterbacks or playing at a high level, sometimes you can just say that this is unexcusable. Can
you relay personnel packages in that communication? I'd assume that it's a pretty tight window.
Yeah, that's the first thing you say. The first thing you say, the quarterback walks away from the huddle, you let him know what's the personnel. It takes a second to say Ranger or Deuce or whatever the case may be of the personnel. It takes 1 second. So VA's aware of the personnel. The coaches make that clear, and then you get into telling him situations. So, there's plenty of time, especially if guys are slow getting off the pile or, there's a long pass downfield. There's a little extra time there for communication to be had.
So the last follow-up question then on this, if it sounds a lot like pitch-com in baseball, right? So as a quarterback, can you ever shake off the offensive coordinator?
Well, I wouldn't advise that. I mean, it really just, it depends on your relationship with your offensive coordinator or coach and how much freedom he gives you. For the most part, a lot of veteran guys, they know. Even coaches take it as far as calling 2 plays in the headset, letting the guy know if you see a look that you don't like, then you can switch the play to this certain play. So, I wouldn't advise guys to going out there changing plays, especially younger guys. But if you have a great relationship with your coach, then he gives you the freedom to do so.
Still, I wonder what the over-under would be on the amount of curse words spoken into that headset throughout a single regular season game.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a little more than PG-13. Darian, as we look ahead to this weekend's game, the Riders obviously earned the right to host the West Final at Mosaic Stadium, first place. What does that home setting mean from a player's perspective? What's that balance between, comfortability and expectations?
It's everything. It starts with your routine. It starts with not having to travel to the airport, to get on a long flight, to go to BC. It starts with being able to sleep in your own bed. Waking up in the morning, you're in your own. You can cook a nice breakfast for yourself. It's all about routine. So when you can have that playoff game at home, you're comfortable. You can, take care of your body, whether it's stretching, massages. I mean, all of your preparation is done, and it makes it that much easier. It's very hard to do those things on the road. So for the guys, it's all about staying in routine, and then not to mention the fans and the type of atmosphere you have during the playoffs. It's revved up, I would say 10 notches at playoff time when you can get that game in Regina. The fans will be super excited for this game, and there's no better environment playoff time than in Regina.
Are you going to be one of those loud fans screaming in the stands this weekend?
I'm thinking about it. I'm still making some last minute decisions here. I'm begging the wife, give me a chance to come. I really want to catch this game live.
Can you tell me, Darian, you started talking about cooking, and so that's, of course, where my mind went. I obviously spend too much time with Mullender. But did the Calgary Stampeders give the Saskatchewan Roughriders any recipe pieces for how you beat the BC Lions this week, even though they fell?
I think so. I think it starts with Dedrick Mills in the run game. I mean, if I'm looking at the forecast here, it's calling for some snow flurries. It may be a little bit icy on the ground. And Dedrick Mills went for over 100 yards on the Lions last week, and I think that's a good sign for the Riders and AJ Ouellette that there may be some holes in this BC Lion front. I know with Betts up front, they love to get after the passer, but I'm just not sure how physical they are up the middle. So that's for one. And then two, the secondary. I mean, VA showed that you can go downfield and attack this Lions secondary. And like I said earlier in the season, the secondary was just giving up big play after big play for 7 to 8 weeks to the season. So if the Riders can find some opportunities, find BC in some coverages that they may seem to be favorable for their matchups, then I think they can exploit this BC Lions secondary.
So if you look at the BC Lions in depth and what their defense presents, with Matthew Betts especially, he didn't come on, it seemed, until late in the season. Then he found some success. But the Riders, in the 3 games they've played him, have been able to neutralize his effectiveness. Is it simply, hey, this is the guy we're focusing on, and this is how we're going to do it? Or is it scheme? What is it?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think you definitely have to recognize where he is on each and every play. He's a game wrecker, right? And, you give him an opportunity, a strip sack, or, he beats an offensive lineman, that those type plays can change the game. So you have to recognize where he is. And I think balance is a way that you can slow down a great pass rusher like him. And that's where AJ Ouellette and the inclement weather and things of that nature can come into play, where you can just turn around and hand the ball off. And he's not a big guy. So, you let Yoshi and these offensive linemen get a hold to him. They can carve the way for AJ Ouellette to run through that front 6 or 7 from the BC Lions. So you have to know where he is at all times, just because he's a special pass rusher, but you can neutralize what he's able to do by just running at him.
Would you agree that Nathan Rourke wasn't neutralized, but he was held in check? Would you agree with that? And if so, how did they do it?
Yeah, I think I think Calgary did a great job of just keeping everything in front of them. I mean, the BC Lions offense is known for its big playability, and Calgary just sat back and made him take what was in front of him. He didn't have a huge game stat-wise, but what he showed was you give him the opportunity late in the game. He made the crucial throw down the middle to set the Lions up for a field goal attempt to win the game. He didn't force anything. Usually you would see a turnover or two from him where he's trying to force a throw. He kept that under wraps. So, even though he didn't have his normal explosive game in the stat column, he made the plays when it was necessary for his team. And, he kept them in situations that were favorable. And when you don't turn the ball over in playoff games, you definitely give yourself a chance. So kudos to him for protecting the ball and making sure he got the ball in the hands of his playmakers and not put the team in harm's way.
And Justin McInnis, what we saw, if you're watching the stream at sportscage.com, you saw the catch that he made to set up the game-winning field goal. And to me, and again, this is my untrained eye, Darian, to me it looked like the Lions really liked the matchup that they had with the zone and Justin McInnis and tried to exploit that. Does something like that come out in film study every week? Hey, this is one matchup that we need to take advantage of?
Absolutely. I think that when you game planning with a guy like Buck Pierce, who's very smart, he knows about matchups, and he's a tendency based coach. He understands that in certain situations you're going to get these coverages. It's just the law of nature of averages, and he knew what Calgary would be in. He knew to put Justin McInnis inside that slot matched up against a linebacker, and it was just a great call for that situation. So look, offensive minds, they know how to put the guys in great positions to make plays, and that was just a great call. And I would have loved to see Calgary play a little bit of man-to-man in that situation to kind of be able to neutralize a receiver going against a linebacker. But, when you're dealing – it's a game of chess, and Buck made a great call, and it was a hell of a throw from Nathan down the middle to this.
So when we shift things out east, because we know the Riders and the Lions are going to be playing this Saturday, but also on the other side of the country, we're also going to see a different matchup happening. Bo Levi Mitchell versus Davis Alexander, of course, with the Ticats and the Montreal Alouettes. How do you like that quarterback stack up?
Man, this is going to be a good one. It's going to be a great quarterback matchup. And what can you say, man? Montreal has just been on fire lately. I mean, they put up over 550 yards of total offense against this Winnipeg defense. And with Davis Alexander in the lineup, they're a totally different team. They seem to feed off of his energy, his attitude, and he's instilled his mentality into this entire football team. So the way this Alouette team has been playing, they every single time Winnipeg would respond, they responded right back. That was great to see. You weren't sure what type of game you would see from Davis Alexander, being that it was his first playoff game, but he showed that he has the ability to lead the team. He's a playmaker, and you can't say enough about Bo Levi and this Hamilton's offense and their resilience and what they've been able to do this. I think this is going to be a high-scoring, explosive matchup between two great offenses. And, if you're a betting guy, you want to think about this over for this one because both teams can put up points for sure.
What makes Davis Alexander so good? What attributes does he have that is making him play at this elite level right now?
I think it just starts with attitude, first and foremost. I mean, it has nothing to do with his abilities on the field. He just has everyone in that locker room rallying behind him. I mean, whenever you're a guy that is that fierce of a competitor, you're willing to do any and everything. You play hurt. The guys see you trying to do what you need to do to get on the field each and every week. They respect that. And you see the receivers running every route full speed. They know that if they're in the right spots, he's going to put the ball there. He gives his receivers a chance. He had 3 receivers pretty much with 100 yards receiving in that game. They're just an explosive team, man. And whenever the defense is feeding off of the quarterback's attitude, he's cocky in a good way for sure. But just with that swag, he just inspires the entire team. So I love the fire that I'm seeing from him. And, his playmaking ability just takes that team over the top.
Does swag have to be earned? Because he hasn't played a full season yet.
I think he's shown that he's the best option for this team, first and foremost. So the guys know that in order for them to win, their best chances are with him under center. That's first and foremost. So when you know that as a team and when he's on the field, and he has that swag, he has that attitude. You heard his comments last week about, with going back and forth with Willie J from Winnipeg, said, come on down to Montreal. And, when guys hear that and you have a guy that's willing to go out there in a street fight with you see the white tank top he has on. So it's kind of like an old school bar brawler mindset. I mean, the team takes on that attitude and they're willing to do everything to have his back. So you have to love that.
Did you feel at one point in your Rough Riders career that the team took on your attitude? Because, again, you weren't shy about being confident in your abilities, and I don't think you had to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said it, I think, a week or two ago that I see a lot of similarities in myself and Davis Alexander when it comes to just the fiery, being fiery, a leader, and not afraid to say some of the things that would be bulletin board material in some cases that coaches may not like. I mean, it's just about you believing in your ability, you believing in your team, you feeling like you can go out there and make plays against anybody in the league. I mean, you have to have that type of attitude in this gladiator sport. And, they say that there's a borderline between arrogance and cockiness, and I think he floats on that line in a good way. And his teammates love it. So I definitely see some comparisons between him and myself. And, whenever you have guys like that, the team definitely rallies behind you.
Now, without looking too far ahead, I'm going to look too far ahead. Next Saturday in that East Final, who do you think the Riders want to see between the Montreal Alouettes and the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Who do you think, if you were in Trevor Harris's shoes, the Riders would have the best chances at beating if they do happen to get past the BC Lions next week?
I would say Hamilton. I think everyone would agree with me in that case. The Riders, pretty much handled Hamilton pretty easily this year. One of their losses, I think they split against Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. And, Noel Thorpe is a hell of a defensive coordinator. We're sitting here speaking on Davis Alexander and that offense, but we can't forget about Noel Thorpe and what he's able to do with these young guys defensively. In my opinion, he's a mastermind at game planning. So, Montreal is a tough team to play for the Riders. They match up well with the Riders. So if there was, you asked me who would I rather see and who would I think the fans would rather see, I'm sure everyone would say Hamilton Tiger Cats.
I'm going to jump back to that Winnipeg-Montreal game for just a second. You've been inside locker rooms. You understand how this works. And was it Noel Thorpe that dictated that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers couldn't run the ball, or was it the offensive coordinator that dictated that they didn't want to hand the ball off to Brady Oliveira? There's a lot of attention being given in Winnipeg right now that, hey, why would we not hand the ball off? And I don't know, Tegan, if you'd agree. If we're paraphrasing Wes Cates, he would say that every game he had the argument that he wasn't handed the ball enough. And I'll just leave that argument there. But
yeah, he would agree.
When you get down into the nuts and bolts of a game plan and even into a game situation where maybe things are going the opposite direction of you think they would, what happens? What's that dynamic between quarterback and coach or running back and quarterback in the midst of a game?
Well, I mean, it's tough to continuously run the ball if you get down early. And, they were down 19 at the half. So I would say that had something to do with the limited carries that Brady Oliveira had. But at the same time, I mean, look, you have to feed him the ball. And Noel Thorpe, he's going to take away one thing or the other. He's not going to let you do both and just have a field day against his defense. So I think that he made a conscious effort coming in to make sure that he slowed the running game down from Winnipeg. He wanted to put Zach in situations where he had to throw the ball. And, I hate to say it, but sometimes if you look at it like this, if you can get a good hit on a guy that's been known to be kind of fragile, so to speak, then you put them in passing situations and you give line and linebackers a chance to tee off on them. So I think he made a conscious effort to stop the run, make sure Zach had to drop back and throw the ball, and that gives you a chance of getting some hits on him. And I hate to say it, but as a defensive coach and some defenders, you want them to be okay, but you don't want them to get up and be healthy enough to finish the game. So I think that's the mindset that Montreal had. And kudos to Zach. He took some big hits. He got right back up. He had a hell of a third quarter. Bringing the team back. He made some crazy throws in that game. And, those big play receivers from Winnipeg did a great job of going up, making plays. So kudos to them for coming back and making it a game. But, Noel Thorpe definitely wanted to take the run game away, and he did that.
And is that Scott Milanovich's mission then this week, to make sure that his Hamilton Tiger Cats can move the ball on the ground and continue to be multidimensional?
You have to. I think you have to keep this Montreal offense off the field. You have to limit their possessions. You have to put some pressure on them and make them have to score every single time they get the ball. If you can eat 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes off the clock with your offense and wear that defense down and keep their offense off the field and make it tough for them, then I think that's what you have to do. If you continuously give Montreal possession after possession and you're going 2 and out, or you're not getting a lot of offensive plays, then you allow them to get into rhythm. And when we've seen over the second half of the season that when this Montreal offense gets into rhythm, they're hard to stop.
How hard is it to play in Hamilton?
It could be very tough. I think those they have a great fan base out there. They're rowdy, man. They say some things that when it comes to trash talking, they may be number one at some of the things they try to say to get in your head. So I think it's a very underrated place to play. The fans are very energetic there. And with the East Final being there in this setting, it could be a tough place to play. And one more thing I want to say, man, I don't know what the league allows, but I just hate how in Montreal you can just fabricate noise, crowd noise. And even though you didn't hear the crazy air horns, I think it was something that they had that was like a horn-like noise, and you could hear it the entire second half. And I don't like the fabricated noise. Maybe it's a CFL staple, but we got to figure out a way to make sure the fans are making the noise and not just objects out there. I didn't like that.
Okay, I am so ready for this question. I am now ready.
This has come up before today, Darian.
So, and again, you can say yes or no. Yes or no, did BC pump crowd noise in when you played in Vancouver?
Yeah, they did. They did. They like to get over the loudspeaker and try to even have the announcer be as loud as you can until the referee blows the whistle, which in my opinion, when the announcer can get on the loudspeaker and put noise into the stadium, that's an unfair advantage for the defense as well. So, look, you can't knock BC because they do it in Montreal. I think you hear some bells in Saskatchewan. You hear different things across the league. So there's some sort of fabricated noise in each and every stadium, I think. But, if that's a CFL staple and that's how it's done, then so be it. But if not, I love for the natural noise of fans to be the number one thing that makes a home field advantage. So if we can get back to that, that'd be a great thing.
So because I'm so wrong so often, when I do get it right, I have to brag. September the 9th, 2000, the Saskatchewan Roughriders were penalized 10 yards, a bench penalty because the pep band was playing when the Hamilton Tiger Cats were in their huddle.
Oh, man. Well, look, it goes, like I said, every team has something that they do to kind of pump up the noise. And I just want to see it be the fans. That's it.
At least the pep band wasn't hiding it. They were pretty obvious about the fact that they were trying to.
Look, until you get caught, you do whatever you can to get away with it. If you get caught, then there's no harm.
Okay, tickets are going fast for the West Final, Darian. How big of a factor can the fan base be? Because we always hear, oh my gosh, the 13th man, they're so critically important. Coach Mace says they're a part of the team this weekend. What does it mean?
It's everything. A crucial false start penalty, guys going offsides on offense, you name it. Any little thing that can help, a flag here or there, the offense not being able to communicate, taking them longer to get the plays called, can't get in and out of the huddle. I mean, crowd noise affects all of these things. And, I would love to see the upper bowl and Mosaic just packed to capacity this week. I know a lot of times I would look at the game on TV and be kind of disappointed because you see so many empty seats in the upper bowl on the upper level of the stadium. So I'm hoping that there's not an empty seat this weekend and the crowd can definitely take over this game and be a huge factor because it's well needed.
Can they sway momentum?
For sure. I mean, look, this is the best crowd in the league when it's a full house. I was blessed to be able to play in front of tons of sellout crowds. And, I just think about it as fourth quarter. You're up. They have to throw. All you hear is crowd noise. They get a false start penalty or they get an offsides penalty. They go from 2nd and 10 to 2nd and 15, which is almost impossible to convert. So if you can get in some of these scenarios due to crowd noise, it could change the game. It could one play. You're one play. It's a game of inches. You're one play away sometimes from it being a win or a loss, or 1 yard away from a win or a loss. So a 5-yard penalty here, a 10-yard penalty there could definitely be the difference in the game. And it's all about crowd noise from that aspect.
My count might be off, Tegan, but I think about a dozen people have offered up their coach this weekend if you want it, Darian.
Wow. I take that. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
You'll always be taken care of here in Saskatchewan. But enjoy the game. Darian, thanks so much for taking the time to do this today.
All right. Thank you so much. Go Riders. Let's get this done.